What is up, guys? It's your boy, Elusive Illusions 28 here, back with another week of predictions. Final regular season week 17 here. Probably the hardest week to predict due to many factors. Last week we went 9-7, hoping to do better than that this week, even though it may be pretty impossible due to, like I said, many factors that we'll discuss in the video. So let's get right into it. First game here, we have the Vikings at the Lions, a very meaningless game here in Week 17, which is a theme you're going to see here, especially on the 1 o'clock games, because they kind of flex most of the games that have any meaning on them to the 4:25 or to the night games. So you'll see a theme here in a lot of these games that I'm going to be mentioning first here. But first game here, we have the Lions and the Vikings. Lions are home. I don't even think Matthew Stafford's going to be playing. Both teams gave up 47 or more points last week. The Lions gave up 47 to the Bucks. Vikings gave up 53 to the Saints. Both these teams aren't good. You know what I'm saying? But what team is worse? I guess the Lions. I mean, anything could really happen here. You know, I mean, the players are playing for themselves at this point, basically. But you know, the organization really aren't. You know, I mean, it's actually better for the organization if they both lose for better draft position. But Vikings, I think they have more players playing for more, like I said, without Stafford and without many key players in for the Lions. Even though the Vikings are missing a lot of guys too, I think they're missing less important guys. So for this first game, I feel like the Vikings will be able to take this game. Give me the Vikings. Next game here, we have a meaningful-ish game between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Not meaningful for the Falcons, but meaningful for the Buccaneers for their playoff spot. So, I mean, Falcons, I mean, the Bucs already clinched a playoff spot. I think it might just be a seed in the NFC playoff picture is what they're really working on at this point, because they can't take the division. Saints already have that, and they're already in the playoffs. So not playing for a whole lot besides seed, and then the Falcons absolutely playing for nothing. So, I mean, they could give them a bit worse of a seed, but I mean, I think the Bucs are going to be trying harder, for the postseason. Whereas the Falcons, I don't think they're going to win. They played 2 weeks ago. They almost won, and then they blew a lead. So it's like typical Falcons, basically. And then they almost beat the Chiefs last week. And then they shanked a field goal. So it's like the Falcons just can't win. They find any way to lose, and I think they'll do that again this week. So for this game, give me the Bucs. Next game here, we have the Jets and the Patriots. Come on, Jets. Bro, I was going to go perfect on predicting them this season. I was 13-0 predicting them. Picked every game for them to lose. And I picked them to lose 2 weeks ago. They win. And I picked them to lose last week. So I'm like, no way they win 2 in a row, especially against winning teams. And then they win. So it's like the Jets are just tanking my record here, basically. And, bro, I want to pick the Jets just because, like, I don't know. Because right now they are playing better than the Patriots. But Frank Gore is out this week, which might actually be his final game that he played last week. So, I mean, he's had an awesome career for sure. Possible Hall of Famer, not 100% sure on that. But I would hope the Patriots win. No way. I said this last week. No way they go on a 2-game winning streak. But no way they go on a 3-game winning streak, right? I might regret saying that. But for this game, give me the Patriots. Next game here, we have a game, one of the few 1 o'clock games between teams that actually are both playing for something. Dolphins playing to make it into the playoffs. Bills just playing for a better seed, basically. They're not taking the Steelers approach, which I'll get on to here in a minute. Steelers are benching a lot of their starters because even though they could lose a seed, they don't care, apparently, because right now they're the 2 seed, and they can't get a bye is what they're basically is their main point in benching these players. So they don't really care if they get the 2 or 3 seed, but the Bills do care if they do. So I don't think they're benching any starters, as well as trying to get the Dolphins to not get into the playoffs, because you never really want to face a division rival in the playoffs. Main point here in another game I'll be talking about Bears Packers. But yeah, Bills trying to get the Dolphins to not make the playoffs, and I feel like they can do that. Bills playing just as, maybe even better than the Chiefs at this point. They've been blowing teams out, unlike the Chiefs, and they may be one of the best teams in football, whereas the Dolphins, should have lost to the Raiders. They didn't get bailed out, but they had Fitzmagic, basically. If they start Tua, they're dumb. They're dumb. I mean, I don't think they're going to win either way, but if they start Tua, that makes no sense. Why? I don't understand, man. Just don't start Tua. Please, please, Dolphins. But anyways, I see the Bills winning this game, so give me the Bills. Next game here, we have the Steelers at the Browns, something I was just talking about a minute ago. Steelers are benching Big Ben. I'm not sure who else they're benching, but yeah, so I saw something just on Instagram about like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. The Browns are favored by double-digit points against a team with the winning record for the first time in 52 years. How's that even possible, man? You haven't been favored against a team with the winning record by 10 plus points in 52 years. Like that's unbelievable. But anyways, them being favored by 10 points, I probably would have picked them to beat the Steelers even if they didn't bench their starters. But now that the Steelers are benching their starters, and Mason Rudolph isn't that good. I don't know who else they're benching specifically, but with at least Big Ben benched, I feel like the Browns, like I said, should be huge favorites in this game. And, they're playing for more because apparently the Steelers are basically playing for nothing right now, right? Because they're benching their starters. They're acting like they're playing for nothing. Whereas the Browns, they still haven't even clinched a playoff spot. So they're playing for a lot. Steelers playing for nothing. Nothing. Basically 2 or 3 seed. Apparently they don't care about. So for this game, I feel like the Browns will be able to get the win. So for this game, give me the Browns. Next game here, we have a game that might matter. Depending on the 8:20 game, we have the Cowboys at the Giants. If the Eagles win the 8:20 game, this will mean something. If they don't, this game is meaningless. But at the time of this happening, it is meaningful for both of the teams because then if whatever team wins, they're rooting for the Eagles to win. So, meaningful game at the time, so both teams have something to play for at the time. Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys have really kicked it up into high gear, man. Scoring 40 plus in their past 2 games. Giants struggling against the Ravens. Their offense has struggled quite a bit, and to keep up with the Cowboys offense that's actually put up a lot of points in these past 2 games. I feel pretty confident in the Cowboys offense to score more points than the Giants offense. So for that reason alone, I feel confident in the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys in this game. Moving on to our final 1 p.m. game, we have a game between the Ravens and the Bengals. Ravens playing for a lot, Bengals playing for draft positioning. Ravens should be able to get this one done, basically, because, Bengals have been impressive recently. They beat the Steelers, and then they beat the Texans. So they're on a 2-game winning streak, which is good, I guess, under Finley. Right, that's their backup quarterback. They've been doing pretty good. So I guess he's given a spark to the team over Joe Burrow, which is kind of surprising. 1 more games this season than Joe Burrow, so in less games. So that's kind of surprising to me. But I think the Ravens should be able to win. I think the Ravens are better than the Steelers, and they're also way better than the Texans. So. And they've beaten, obviously, better opponents, and the Ravens have been looking like a very impressive team this season. So, in the past 3-4 weeks, should I say, they've really kicked it up into high gear. So hopefully they'll be able to do something in the playoffs this year, and I think they will get into the playoffs with the win right here against the Bengals. So for this game, give me the Ravens. Moving on to our first 4:25 game, we have the Jags at the Colts. It's funny because they played in Week 1 and Week 17, and guess what happened Week 1? The Jags got their only win of the season against who? The Colts. And now they play again 16 weeks later in 2 very different scenarios because after that Week 1, Colts were 0-1, Jags were 1-0, and now Jags are 1-11, Colts are 10-5. So both seasons went in 2 very different directions. Colts, though, this game might not matter. Like I said, just like the Cowboys-Giants game, the Colts could win, and then it's meaningful for them because if they win, then they have to root for the Texans to beat the Titans, which I'll get onto after this game, of course. But I feel like the Colts obviously playing for a lot. Jags, they already clinched the number 1 pick, so I guess Jags are going to be trying too because they can't mess up a draft pick or anything. So Jags are going to be trying as well to ruin the Colts' chances, even though I don't see them getting into the well, at least winning the division, because they could still actually. So yeah, this game is still meaningful because if the Colts win, they could still make the playoffs, just not win the division and get a top four seed. So still a meaningful game for them. So for that reason, I feel like the Colts should be able to win. So give me the Colts in this game. Next game here, we have the Titans at the Texans. Like I said, meaningful game again. Like I said, you'll see a theme here between the 425 games. Lots of meaningful games here. Titans, though, like I said, playing for a lot. Texans playing for absolutely nothing because, like I said, their draft pick goes to the Dolphins, so doesn't really matter for them. They could play as well as hard as they want and then, just try and ruin the division for the Titans, basically. But like I said, don't see that happening. Titans coming off of a terrible game against the Packers. They're going to want to, clean stuff up before the playoffs because they technically haven't even clinched a playoff spot either, even though they're leading their division right now. They could still not make the playoffs, even though they're, top 3 seed right now. So Texans trying to ruin that, but I don't see that happening, especially if they're going to be losing to teams like the Bengals. I feel like the Titans are better than teams than the Bengals. So Texans season basically over. And yeah, I feel like the Titans should be able to get this win. So give me the Titans in this game. Next game here, we have the Cardinals at the Rams. It was gonna be a close pick for me. It really was because you had Jared Goff, the Rams, playing for a lot, and in the past couple days, their teams just crumbled apart, not record-wise. Well, record-wise, too, actually. They lost to the Jets, and then they lose to the Seahawks barely. But then after that, Jared Goff has a broken thumb, and now Cooper Kupp is on the COVID reserve list. Don't know if he actually has it. If he doesn't, he will be eligible to play this Sunday. But if he does, he's done, too. Well, not done for the season. Done for the next couple of weeks, I think, then, right? So, yeah, major blows for the Rams right there. And then Cardinals, Kyler Murray, who knows if he's playing as well. If he's not playing, I don't know who their backup is. I heard I don't know who the Rams backup is, but I heard his name, and I've never heard of him before. I can't remember what his name was. But I think he's an undrafted rookie out of Wake Forest. So he's getting his first career start with the season on the line. Because, yeah, the Rams haven't clinched a playoff berth either. Nor have the Cardinals. So both playing for a lot here. Jared Goff not playing. So if Kyler Murray plays, I feel very confident picking the Cardinals in this game. So for this game, give me the Cardinals. Moving on to our next game, we have the Saints and the Panthers. Saints playing for possibly the number 1 seed. Or the number 3 seed they could get, right? Right now they're in the number 2 seed. I think with a loss and a Seahawks win and a Packers win, they would be the 3 seed. But if they win, the Seahawks win and the Packers win, they get the 1 seed. And then with the Seahawks loss, the Saints win and a Packers win, they still stay at the 2 seed. So kind of confusing scenarios there. So they're going to be rooting for the Seahawks. I don't even know how this whole scenario works. Like, I can't remember every single scenario in my head with this 3-way tiebreaker thingy thing. But I know if the Saints or the Seahawks win, Saints win and Packers lose, the Saints would get the number 1 seed. I think that's the only scenario. So, obviously that starts off with a win with the Saints, because like I said, they're going to be playing for a lot here too, because all the games that they care about are also on at 425. So obviously they're going to be playing as if this scenario works out perfectly, including a win for them, which like I said, I see happening because the Panthers, not really playing for much, just, confidence at this point. But I mean, I see the Saints winning this game, so give me the Saints. Next game here, we have the Packers at the Bears. A very interesting matchup here because the Packers coming off of a dominating win against the Titans. They're playing for a lot. This is probably one of the most meaningful games of Week 17 because Packers playing for the 1 seed, Bears playing for the playoffs. Because like I said, if what happens here happens, the Bears would need to win for a playoff position because they either need a Cardinals loss or a Bears win to make the playoffs. And if what happens, like with the Cardinals beating the Rams, which they should be favored with no Jared Goff and with no Cooper Kupp possibly, they would need to win to make the playoffs. So Very meaningful game for the two. I think the Bears might be slightly overrated though, because they were talking about how great the Bears offense has been in the past 4 weeks, and I've looked at it, and it's been last 4 teams they've played have been the Texans. The Texans just allowed 37 to the Bengals, so it's not like their defense is any good. They played the Lions. The Lions just gave up 47 to the Bucks, so their defense isn't good. They played the Jaguars. And they're not a good defense, I'll tell you that. And then they've played, who else have they played in the last 4 weeks? The Vikings, Bears. Oh yeah, the Texans too. Or wait, no, they played the Lions. Oh yeah, and then the Vikings. They played the Vikings too in the last 4 weeks, and they just gave up 53 to the Saints. So they haven't played good defenses, and then people have been overrating them, being like, oh, the Bears have scored 30 plus in their last 4 games. But then it's like, you look at the teams they've played, and it's like, I would hope so, because the other teams that have played them too have put up 30 plus on them. So it's like, Bears might be slightly overrated for at least some stats that I've been seeing. And then the Packers, have been looking very impressive. As a Packers fan, obviously, I'm going to say that. And obviously, I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game because, like I said, very meaningful game for the Packers because, the other game, because they could still get the 1 seed with a loss, but would have to be a Seahawks loss, which is currently not favored. And, they're not going to try and risk that. They're just going to go for the win because, they control their own destiny for the 1 seed, and it's major because Rodgers has never played a home NFC championship game, which is crazy. So he's going to try and get that first one here, and I think he does. Well, I'm not predicting them to go to the NFC championship here, but I'm just saying I predict them to get the 1 seed by getting a win here. So for this game, give me the Packers. Next game here, we have our hardest game to pick. I don't know why this is a 4:25 game. I think they flexed this to 4:25 too from 1 o'clock, which is very concerning because the Chiefs have nothing to play for, and so do the Chargers. The Chiefs not having to play for anything is better than the Chargers not having to play for anything because the Chiefs, they're already the 1 seed, so they have nothing to play for, and the Chargers are already eliminated. They have nothing to play for as well besides draft pick. So, very interesting. They flex this to 4:25 because the Chiefs, they're not likely to start Mahomes. They not likely to start Travis Kelce. Not likely to start Tyreek Hill. Not likely to start basically all their top players. So, the Chargers are actually favorites to win this game, and I think I like them in this game because first time they played, the Chargers almost won, and that was with all the Chiefs players. Obviously Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. And now under Chad Henne or whatever the Chiefs backup is, I feel like obviously they're a worse team. And I feel like the Chargers may be able to get this win for pride. And I feel like I'm going to be picking the Chargers this game. First time that I'm picking against the Chiefs too this year. So monumental for me. I just wanted to do that real quick. So for this game, give me the Chargers. Next game here, we have the Seahawks at the 49ers. This will probably be a very good game too because last time they played, the Seahawks only won by 10 if I'm not mistaken, and these teams are very different. Now the Seahawks I feel like have regressed a little bit since the middle of the season, and the 49ers have much improved as they've gotten Kittle back. They're getting a lot of their key pieces back, obviously too late, but I'm surprised Kittle even came back, but that's the type of guy he is, always a team first kind of guy. So I'm actually not very surprised. But you could see the difference in the offense when Kittle was out there, getting a win last week against the Cardinals, a good opponent just like the Seahawks are. So I feel like this game will be a lot closer than people think because they're like, oh, the Niners are done for, their team's injured, nothing to play for. But they actually do have something to play for. They still could ruin the Seahawks' chance at the 1 seed. I think the Seahawks could even drop a couple seeds. I'm not sure. As in, they could drop to the... Or no, they can't. So they would basically... Yeah, because they won the division. So the furthest the Seahawks can drop would actually be the 3 seed, which is actually what they're in now. So actually, they could just prevent the Seahawks from getting the 1 seed, which is still very unlikely. But, Niners are still playing for to ruin the Seahawks draft pick. But I don't see that happening. See the Seahawks winning, obviously, because like I said, they don't know what's happening because like I said, same with the Saints, same with the Packers. Every team in this scenario is playing at the same time, so they're acting like the Packers lost and the Saints lost to give them the 1 seed. So they act like they're playing for the 1 seed here, which I feel like they're going to get the win and not get the 1 seed, obviously, based on my previous predictions. But, they're acting like they're playing for it, and I feel like they're going to win. So give me the Seahawks. Next game here, we have the Raiders at the Broncos. Once again, another game I'm very surprised. They flexed to 425. The only reason why I think they flex this to 425 is because it is a West Coast matchup, just like the Chargers and Chiefs, I guess. But I think the Chargers and Chiefs was actually projected for 1 p.m. So I was kind of surprised why they even flexed that in the first place. But I think Raiders-Broncos was supposed to be at 425. So they just ended up not flexing that, which I'm still a little bit confused about because now the Raiders have nothing to play for, and now the Broncos obviously have not had anything to play for a while. So game doesn't really matter. I feel like the Raiders are a little bit better, though. They almost beat the Dolphins. They should have beat the Dolphins if they didn't pull the Jets against the Raiders like a few weeks ago and just allow basically a Hail Mary and a game-winning field goal. So Raiders looking to at least end off on a high note, and I feel like they will. So for this game, give me the Raiders. And then with our final regular season prediction of the year, we have the Washington football team, at the Eagles. I'm surprised they made this the 8:20 game. Feel like it would have been the Bears and the Packers because that's more of a feel like there's more playoff implications. Like I feel like those two teams have a chance to go further than like a 7-9 Washington football team if they win, and then the Cowboys or Giants if the Eagles win. But nonetheless, this is an 8:20 game. Washington football team, Terry McLaurin is listed as doubtful. Jalen Hurts, though, if the Eagles would have won last week, I would have really picked them because, they're doing good. They're showing that they can beat a playoff team in the Washington football team, and then everyone would have faith in Hurts, and that would be how it would be. But they ended up getting smoked by the Cowboys. Hurts didn't do as well. And the Washington football team playing for a lot more, obviously the playoffs here, because if they lose, they're out. If they win, they're in. And, Washington playing for more, and I feel like they're a slightly better team, even though they're, 6-9 right now, and with the win, 7-9 in the playoffs. So, feel like they're going to take the win here. Give me the Washington football team. But I appreciate you guys tuning in here. All done with regular season predictions. I will be back with wild card predictions, though, next week, next Tuesday, most likely. So that's going to be for sure interesting. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope to see you on the next video. Drop a like, subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.